about why we repot our plants. I see people doing it, but do you really know why you're doing what you're doing? So this plant I bought from a big box store, and whether you buy from a big box store or a nursery, a lot of times the plant is going to come with a very dense soil with not a ton of drainage. And that works really well for a nursery that has warm temperatures and huge industrial fans, but usually our home environment doesn't have that type of airflow or warm temperatures, and so that dense soil with not a lot of drainage will cause your plant to rot in the long term. When I'm repotting a plant, I just gently remove the soil that's here. Try not to disturb the root ball too much if they have like gentle, delicate roots. You don't need to remove the whole thing, just give it a good start. Another reason I like to repot new plants I get is it gives me a chance to look at the roots. I've bought plants before that had rotted roots, and I would have never caught it if I just let it sit in the nursery soil that it came in. Speaking of, look at these roots. When repotting a plant, it's important you don't go more than 1 to 2 inches bigger than the root ball. The reason is if you give this plant too much soil, it will hold too much water and it will not be able to process all of that water out. In the long term, your plant will get root rot just from having too big of a pot. Another reason I like to repot plants is to remove this mesh in here. Mesh plugs are used a lot in a bunch of different types of nurseries, but I do not like them. They do not always break down, and so I like to go through and remove those out of the soil. As far as when to repot your new plant, honestly, that's up to you and very debated. I personally kind of like to get in there right away. Some people are like, well, it's in shock because it just got mailed to you, but it's like, exactly, it's already in shock. Let me go ahead and get it a good foundation, get it started in my soil. And that way I know like, hey, this had a good root system when I started. That's not the issue. Or, you know, this soil is staying wet too long. It's my chunky soil mix. I know how to work with my chunky soil mix. Now, if you don't want to repot your new plant, hey, to each their own. There are a lot of people that have plants in their nursery soil for years, thriving. But for me and my plants, I'm always going to change the soil. I'm always going to put it in a chunky soil mix. All my plants are in the same chunky soil mix. So y'all, repot your plants if you want to. I just want you to know the reasons why we do it.